Hello, everyone, and welcome back to A Story with Gorte. Today we'll be reading Chapter 4 of The Scarlet Rose. Chapter 3, recapping it, Misty woke up. She read that piece of paper that she received the night before, talking about how one of the Scarlet Rose members went rogue, and now if they resurface, all hell will break loose, pretty much. They go out. Misty meets Meldorin and Lazarus, where they go to the tavern and meet Marvin. They have breakfast. They leave. Marvin pays for the meal. And Misty asks him, do you know anything else about the Scarlet Rose? And he goes, I'm not your enemy. I'm here to help. We'll be seeing again each other soon. And then he leaves. Then they go take the wagon. They're on their way to Grimdall. And in the road, they see an elf. Misty helps the elf by healing her wound, but she still needs medical attention. So they take the elf on the wagon, and then they head to Grimdall. And that was the end of Chapter 3. Now we are in Chapter 4. So let's get started. Misty and the others entered the town and headed for the healing ward. Meldorin stopped in front of a building with a red cross on it. Misty helped Meldorin take the elf inside. Priests ran around healing the wounded. A woman in white robes looked at the two. Do you need something? We're very busy here today. Yes, this elf is injured and needs proper healing, Misty said. Put her in that room over there. Meldorin and Misty put the elf in the nearest room on the bed. She grinned at them. Thank you. I do appreciate it. She shut her eyes. The two left. They mounted back on the wagon. Meldorin slapped the reins and headed down the road. The people of Grimdall flooded the streets, going from place to place. They held bags of goods and clothing. Lazarus watched as the people passed by. Meldorin stopped the wagon. Misty hopped off. As she came around the back, a man stepped outside the shop. He was a tall man with light blue skin. He had long elven ears and wore a brown tunic with black tailored pants. His dark blue ocean hair was pulled back into a ponytail. He hugged Misty. It's good to see you. Thank you for that quick response with my order. Misty blushed. It's not that big of a deal, Vindros. I was glad I could make them in time. But tell me, why does the king need so many potions? Oh, you didn't hear? There has been attacks on the city recently. He wanted to stock the soldiers for when the attacks happen again. Misty raised a brow. Vindros, has the king asked for reinforcements? I'm sure my mother could send mages or have King Bronze send soldiers. Vindros shook his head. No, he tried. He was told that every soldier, mage, and extra person was defending the front lines against the orcs. Misty hung her head. I'm sorry, have the orcs been attacking Grimdall? Yes, and demons. No one knows where the demons came from. The king sent a regiment to check the perimeter with searching the next region over, but nothing was ever found. That is odd indeed. I hope you can solve the problem soon. Vindros laughed. Well, I can't be the only one working on a solution. Misty chuckled. The two, along with Meldorin and Lazarus, carried the crates into the shop. One by one, the crates piled on the counter. As Misty brought in the last box, she handed Vindros the bill. He grabbed the sack of coins on his hip. Here. There is a little extra, so grab a bite to eat. Yeah, Misty, let's go. You promised, Lazarus shouted. They laughed. Okay, let's go. Do you mind if we leave the wagon and horses here? Not at all. I'll take care of it. Thank you, Misty. The three made their way to the tavern down the street. As they entered, a bard played a song on a banjo. Drunken men laughed and cheered, raising their mugs and chugging down their ale. The three grabbed a table in front. A waitress brought out 3 plates of food and sat them on the table, with 3 glasses of water. The plate was filled with a giant turkey leg and a mountain of mashed potatoes with a golden piece of corn on the cob. Lazarus' eyes widened as his mouth watered over the food. They dug in without a moment. The turkey legs spilled out juices that ran down their faces. Misty ate a spoonful of mashed potatoes. They were creamy and buttery with bits of bacon mix inside. Misty bit into the corn. The garlic butter spilled down her cheeks, each bite more filling than the last. The three scarfed down their food. Misty paid the tab and they left. So, are you and Lazarus planning on staying, or are you departing for Corhall? Asked Misty. I believe we are going to head back to Corhall. We've been gone far too long. Misty nodded. Okay, be safe. Lazarus hugged Misty goodbye. The two walked off back at the alchemy shop. Misty headed for the inn. The inn stood on the corner of Gold Street and King Avenue. She headed inside to see a young woman working the desk. She smiled at Misty. Good evening. How can I help you today? Her voice sweet. I just need a room for the night, she replied. The woman nodded and handed Misty a key. It will be 10 gold. Misty handed the woman 10 gold pieces. Your room is on the top floor, all the way to the right. Misty nodded. She went to her room and unlocked the door. Inside was a queen-sized bed and a dresser next to the bed. Over in the corner was a desk, and on the other side of the room was a bathroom with a shower. Misty undid her belt and placed it on the dresser. She undressed and showered before dressing in a white robe. She rested her head on the pillow and fell fast asleep. The next morning, Misty woke to the sun peeking through her window. She stood up and went to the bathroom and washed up. She rinsed her blonde hair and let it air dry. She wrapped her belt around her waist and her books and vials attached to them. She grabbed her belongings and headed out. Misty went down the steps to be greeted by the innkeeper with a smile. Excuse me, miss, she said. Misty turned and saw the innkeeper walking to her. Yes? A letter came for you late last night. She handed Misty the letter as she gave her back the key. Misty unfolded it. Dear Misty, I heard that man say your name. I want to thank you for all that you've done for me. I am grateful for your kindness. I am sorry that I had to leave, but I needed to go. I hope our paths cross again. And my name is Kalik. Thank you again. Misty smiled. She nodded to the innkeeper and left. She made her way to the alchemy shop where Vindros worked. The door was held open with a piece of wood. She saw him at his counter counting coins. Good morning, she said. His gaze fell to her. Misty, you're still here? I expected you to have left when Meldrin did. No, I decided to stay in the city. Good. Care to come by the castle to speak to the king? Misty nodded. Of course. Vindros locked his money in a safe, and the two headed to the castle. The city was quiet in the morning. Not many people flooded the streets. They came to the castle doors, where 2 guards stood watch. They bowed to Vindros and nodded at Misty. The two entered and followed the red carpet to the throne room. Vindros opened the door to see the King Bane sitting on his throne. The two entered and bowed to the king. He nodded in acceptance. Ah, Vindros, I was just about to send my guards to come get you. He eyed Misty. It's good to have you here, Misty. She nodded. Vindros told me about you asking for assistance from Pandemonium. I am baffled they could not spare any soldiers for you. The king laughed. It is quite all right, Misty. They have a job to do, and so do we. I am lucky enough to in this dark hour that the citizens of Grimdall do not lose faith. They are proud of their king and will fight alongside him. It is the citizens that give me hope that all of this bloodshed will end soon. Misty nodded. About that, Bane, I was also informed that these demons have no entryway on where they have came from. I do find that odd. King Bane stood, as do I. Our mages have cast a tracking spell to see any kind of footprints that demons have left, but they came up short. I believe that those blasted orc warlocks are summoning those demons to us. We just have no proof. An eerie silence filled the room. Within that moment, screams echoed outside the castle walls. The three glanced at one another. One of the guards rushed into the room. "My king, we are under attack by the demons again." With no hesitation, the three sprung to action, heading outside the castle. The guards drove their spears into the red-skinned demons, but were quickly squashed with a mere swipe of the claws. Misty glanced to see a wave of demons and orcs stomping through the city, slaughtering every citizen that came in contact with them. "Bane, you were right. It was the orcs." He nodded at Misty. "Vindros, I'm going to head to the cathedral. I want you to rally any citizens you come across. Our end goal will be Nature's Court. That will be our last stand." Vindros nodded. "Yes, my king." The king ran off, drawing his sword for battle. Vindros looked at Misty. "Misty, I need you to hold off the demons while I rally the citizens. Try not to let them follow me." Misty nodded. "Do you have any pair of weapons I can borrow?" He nodded and handed her freshly sharpened blades. Small daggers. Vindros ran off, leaving Misty with the demons. Misty rushed into battle. She swung her daggers at the ground and in an instant sparked with fire. The blades were consumed by the flame, enchanting them with its heat. The demon stood 7 feet tall with soulless black eyes and bore metal maces and axes. Misty could feel them as the vibrations rippled through the stone streets. She took a deep breath and exhaled. The first came just a few feet from her. She held her daggers steadily in her hands, and just as the beast swung, she dashed underneath it, slicing its legs. She used most of her agility to maneuver around the demon, slashing it every chance she had. Black blood oozed from its wound, but it still stood roaring in her face. She drove the blade through the demon's stomach. The scorching blade incinerated the demon's insides. It fell with a thud. 2 other demons dashed at Misty, wielding giant spiked maces. They swung fast, and their recovery time was quicker than their swing. Misty slid under one, stabbing its legs with the daggers. She twisted them before ripping them out. The demon fell with a thud. The other swung its mace with Misty in the crossfire. Arrows filled its head. The demons dropped its mace and fell on top of the other dead one. Misty glanced around to see a wolf-fur figure. The figure lifted its head and smiled. "Kalik? I figured I could help. I figured you could use my help," she said. "I thought you left," Misty questioned. She shook her head. "No, I saw the orcs and demons heading for the city. I tried to slow them down, but it was no good. I thank you for your assistance. We need to find any citizens and tell them to go to Nature's Court." Kalik nodded. "Then let's go." The two hurried down the path to the cathedral. More demons fled the streets with orcs at their sides. Kalik stopped Misty. "I can handle this so we can go on through. Just be ready for anyone. I don't hit." Misty nodded. Kalik knocked an arrow on her bow. Her honey-brown eyes glowed blue. "Velethi Kazaa." As she fired her arrow, it too glowed blue. It soared through the air, impaling one orc, ripping through its neck, and hitting the demon next to it through its skull. The arrow impaled 2 more orcs and one other demon. Their bodies fell with a thud. "How did you do that?" Misty asked amazingly. "It's an ability I studied called True Shot. But enough about that. Let's hurry!" They ran down the street, witnessing the bodies of men, women, children, orcs, and demons. The two rendezvoused with Vindros and the king. The citizens grabbed weapons and armor. The cathedral bell tolled. "Vindros, we will be overrun in a tight spot like this. We need to head to the Savage Green quarters. Please try and hold any demons you can." He nodded. "As you wish, my king." "Citizens of Grimdall, follow me. We shall prepare for battle. To the savage green quarters!" The king shouted and ran. The citizens followed him, leaving Misty, Kalik, and Vindros. They followed the last of the citizens before coming to a crossroads. The houses burned and the streets filled with blood of the fallen. Vindros stopped and glanced behind him. The two did the same, to see a figure walking towards them. The clinking of metal boots echoed through the silent streets as the figure came closer. It was a man in a black robe and a hood that covered his face. Vindros grabbed the hilt of his sword. "Who are you?" he shouted, but the man did not answer. He stopped and faced them, standing there. "What is he doing?" Vindros whispered. I don't know." They stood, hearing the crackling of the burning wood. Vindros charged the man with his sword close to his body. He slashed down at the man as he casually sidestepped the attack. Vindros jumped back and tried to strike again. The man unveiled his face and gave Vindros an eerie smile. Vindros' face turned cold. "You two run! Head to the Savage Green quarters. I will meet you there." "But what about you?" Misty shouted. "I can't let him go through. Go, now!" They did as they were told, and headed to the Savage Green quarters. The two came to another crossroads where they saw more demons flooding the streets like the blood of the fallen. The demons were slender in height and gray in color, different from the red-skinned demons. Some were long and had bodies like centipedes with blood dripping sharp claws. Unlike the red-skinned demons, these greenish-looking ones were tall. They bore staves and wore black robes. An absorption dome surrounded them. Where the hell did the orcs find demons like these?" Misty whispered. What should we do?" Kalik asked. "There are too many of them to fight. We need to run through." Misty glanced at her belt and smiled. "I have an idea. When I give the signal, run like hell." Misty thrust her hand and fire erupted from her fingertips. The fire slammed into the demon mages, breaking their absorption dome. She then grabbed a vial with an orange liquid inside. Misty nodded at Kalik, and she nodded back. They bolted down the road, trying to make it to the next quarter of the city. The demons focused their attention on her. As they ran past, Misty slammed the vial on the ground, creating a thick orange smoke behind them. Lightning seared through the smoke like a mini thunderstorm. As she ran, she threw constant firebolts. They came to the intersection of Cos Road and Lane Street. Misty and Kalik hurried down Lane Street towards Nature's Court. Kalik fired arrows at the demons and that poured through the burning buildings. Kalik jumped, dodging the weapons that they swung at them. Misty ducked under, running through the demons' legs. They slaughtered the innocent before their eyes. "Kalik, keep running. I'm going to do something." She stopped, glancing behind her. "I'm not leaving without you." Misty planted her feet firmly on the ground. Her eyes turned a frost blue as she danced her hands in the air. Ice shards formed around her, and with one thrust of her hands, the shards flew. They drove deep into the leathery skins of the demons, blood rushing from their wounds as they fell, pushing the ice deeper into their bodies. The two entered Nature's Court to see cannons and ballistas ready to fire. Misty glanced at the opening to see Vindros heading to them. He bowed to his king. "My king, we have a serious problem on our hands. A man is..." The ground shook beneath their feet. The citizens screamed, pointing to the sky. Fireballs rained from the sky, smashing into the ground. The citizens were crushed beneath, disintegrating them. More demons erupted from the meteors and began destroying everything in their path. King Bane shot a glance at Vindros and Misty before a meteor obscured their vision. "No!" Vindros shouted. "Misty, you need to get out of here. Head to Pandemonium. Tell him that Grimdall has fallen." What? No, I can't leave you here. Not like this. He grabbed her by the shoulders. Misty, my people, my king, my city. I will die for them all. I will not abandon King Bane. Go now. She sighed, then nodded. Misty and Kalik ran to the gate. She glanced at Vindros as he drove his blade through the heart of a demon. Another meteor obstructed her view. Misty, She looked at Kalik. You don't have to come with me. You have done your part. Misty walked a few steps. She felt the hand on her shoulder stopping her. She cocked her head to see Kalik. I'm coming with you. We're in this together. Misty nodded. The two went off to the capital city, Pandemonium. And that is the end of Chapter 4. So, that is it. That was a tough one. We finally got a nice battle scene. So that I will end that here. Let me know what you guys think. What are your predictions now? So Grimdall has fallen, and now they're heading back to Pandemonium. So what do you think that? What do you think is going to happen? I want to thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I hope it's finally starting to pick up. That it's starting to finally be interesting. I hope you all are getting kind of the feel of how I write and stuff. I like I say almost in any video, this is very nerve-wracking to me because I'm actually reading my stories out loud. So I've never done that before, but it is interesting, I will say the least. And yeah. So what are your predictions now? Comment down below, and I will have to read some of them and see. Yeah, that was good. That was good. So yes, thank you all for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. Remember to be the best you can be, and I will see you all in Chapter 5. Bye!